Alright, next one I'm going to show you is I'm going to take 145% to start with, and I'm going to change it to a decimal, and I'm going to change it to a fraction. And by now, this process should be really easy. As a fraction, remember all we're doing is putting the percentage over 100. It's that easy. So 145 over 100. Now what we're probably going to want to do is we're probably going to want to reduce this a little bit here. Okay, so if I divided by, let's say we divided by 5, 145 divided by 5 would be, let's see, 20 and I think 9, so I think that's 29 20ths. Okay, now we could probably change this to a mixed number, would be a good idea. 20 goes into 29 one time, with how many left over? That would be 9 20ths. Okay, now the other thing that we can do is, let me write that 20 a little better so you've got that on there. We can come up here and we can change this to a decimal really easy. Remember, as a decimal, we need two numbers after the decimal point, and then if it's over 100%, we need a whole number out in front. So 145% is just going to be 1.45. And again, if you're unsure if that's right, write what you think it is and then take a look at it and make sure it has all the parts that we need here. We've got this part of it, the 45% part, which we know is 45%, which we have in the problem here, and then the whole number out in front is the 100% part of it. Now, the last thing I'll show you what this is, if I took this, okay, the 1 and 9/20ths, it better equal back to that as a decimal, and I think it does. What I'm going to do is I'm going to forget about the one whole for now. Okay, I'm just going to put this off to the side. We know it's going to be 1 point something. Okay, I'm going to divide out the 9/20ths. Okay, if I divide out the 9/20ths, 20 is on the bottom, so that's on the outside. 9/20ths itself is less than one whole, so our thing better come out to be less than one whole. 9 on the inside. 20 goes into 9 not, it doesn't. So 20 goes into 90 4 times. That would be 80. We'll subtract and we'll get 10 and we'll bring down a 0, which is 100. And then 20 goes into 100 5 times. Now take a look at this. 0.45. So we'll put this after a whole number. And that's what we got when we did it this way also. Anytime you do these, you should be able to go back and forth to all three of the different types, percent, decimal, fraction, and it should work out to be the same thing anytime you do it. Alright, I've given you 4 different problems to kind of test your skill out here, and I want you to change them to some different things. The one in the upper left hand corner, I want you to take 27/4. I want you to first change it to a decimal and then change it to a percent. Bottom left hand corner, 4.3. Change it to a percent, then change it to a fraction. 321%. Change it to a fraction, then change it to a decimal. And then 600%, just change it to a decimal. I want you to try these on your own, and you should be able to do these by now. These are not any different than anything we've done before, but it just takes a little work now that we've got some fractions and decimals and percents that are more than 100%. So I want you to take some time to work these out on your own. If you got to look back in notes and do those kind of things, that's fine. See if you can do these, and then come back to the video and check and see how you did. Alright, let's start with the upper left here. Change a fraction to a decimal, that's just a division problem, which we've done plenty of times before. We know it's more than one whole, so our answer better be more than one whole. And my 4 is going to go on the outside, the bottom number goes on the outside, the 27 on the inside. 27 and a few zeros. Hopefully you got enough room on here. 27, 4 does not go into the 2, but it goes into the 27. 4 goes into 27 6 times, which is going to be 24, 3, bring down my 0. Okay, So we know automatically it's going to be 600 some percent because it's before the decimal point. 4 goes into 30 looks like 7 times. That would be 28, which is going to equal 2. And then I'm going to bring down another 0, which is going to be 20, and this is going to work out fine. 4 goes into 25 times perfectly. Okay, so now I've got my decimal, 6.75. Now I just need to write it as a percentage, and of course that's just going to be 675%. Decimal percent. Okay, let's go to this one down here. 4.3. Let's write it as a percentage. Okay, I know with the 4 out in front it's going to be 400 some percent. So I'll start with a 4, and then I need my 2 numbers after it for my percentage. I need the 2 numbers after the decimal point to get those 2 numbers. So my 3 is going to go here, and then I don't have anything after the 3, but I need 2 numbers, so that's just going to be 430%. Now if I go to change that to a fraction, I just want to put it over top of 100. So that's going to be 430 over 100. I could reduce this down. I'm going to start with changing it to a mixed number. That might make it easier, and that might actually reduce it down for me. 100 goes into 430, 100, 200, 300, 400, 4 full times. There would be, that's 400, so there would be, what, 43, not 43 left over. 100 goes into 400 4 times, that would be 400, and to get to 430, that would be 30 left over out of 100. And then everybody should know that if you look at 4 and 30 100ths, we can just divide that by 10, and you're going to end up with 4 and 3/10 for your fraction. Okay, 4 and 3/10, and that makes sense because if you look at what we had originally, there's the 4 wholes that we have there, and then the 3/10 is just 0.3. That's what we would get if we divided it out. Next one, 321%. Let's first make it a fraction, then let's make it a decimal. So to make it a fraction, that's easy. That's what we just did. 321 over 100. 321 over 100 is going to be 3 and 21 100ths. And that's probably all we can reduce it down by, I think, because the only thing that really goes into 21 is 7 and 3, and that doesn't go for 100. So this would be your answer as a fraction. As a decimal, we need to divide this out. So I think I'll have enough room over here, maybe not. I'm going to erase this and write it under here. I think that'll be easier. 3 and 21 100ths over here, give myself plenty of room. The 100's going to be on the outside, and then my 21's going to be inside. Okay, and again, we're just going to put the 3 in front of it. So if you want to put your 3 right here, that would be fine because we know it's going to be 3 wholes. Let's just start with 100 goes into 210. 100 goes into 210 twice. 2 times 100 is 200. Subtract, we'll get 10. Bring down your 0. 100 goes into 100 one time. So my answer as a decimal is 3.21, which as we go back to the start up here to our percentage, that would be 321%, because if I cover up the 3 wholes, that's just 21%, which that's 21%, but then I have 3 wholes, which is the same thing as 300%. Last one, probably the easiest one here, 600% as a decimal. Well, 600% as a decimal is just 6 wholes. Just like 100% was 1 whole, and 900% is 9 wholes, 600% is just 6 wholes. I'm hoping by the time that we're done with this, these conversions become very easy.